Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the iFox and Juice podcast. I'm your host, Juice, and I'm here with my co-host, the Yoel Romero backflip to my Izzy Adesanya pop and lock. Rain, what's going on, Rain?
No fucking Jesus!
As always, we got a packed show. We got a rewind. We got a preview. We got headlines. We got matchups. We got a news story. I also did an interview with KGB as of yesterday. If you guys haven't heard it, go and listen to it. Reen was in on the call, but she didn't say anything because she just wanted to hear it out and she didn't want to mess up my flow. But she did ask her an additional question, which will be at the very end of the show. So when the show is ending, do not tune out. You'll get to hear some of that. But that happened last week as the show was being posted, and I thought it was it was amazing, right? The dance off.
Yeah, Josh Thompson and Big John, they were talking about it. They were like talking about DC and Josh Thompson was like, DC can do a backflip and this and that, and Big John's like, wait, hold on. He was probably warmed up, right? You know, he probably did it in training. We're talking about Yoel Romero, like he's in street clothes. He's not warmed up at all. Right? And then he starts to get down and does that flip and a split. Like, come on, you got to give it to the man. So, yeah, definitely. Like, shit. He outdid Izzy.
And he did it like if it was like a jumping jack, like just 1, 2, just like simple movement, just automatic.
Fuck, man. Those Cubans, once they get that rhythm in them, they can do anything.
Izzy can dance. I mean, that's not breaking news. We've seen him. We saw the walkout for the Whitaker fight. We've seen some of his post-fight celebrations, and I was like, I have no problem saying Izzy might be one of the best dancers or the best dancer in the UFC. But Romero was like, fuck you, man. I got this. Like, nobody expected that.
He still had his hat on. Like, he didn't skip a beat, pretty much. Like, he had still everything on. Nothing tore. You know, he didn't tear his jeans or anything like that. Like, it came out of nowhere. The look on Dana White's face, too. Like, holy shit. Did you just do that? You can do that shit? Amazing. He's going to be 43 in April.
Allegedly.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Allegedly, because we don't know. Cubans and their birth certificates.
Hey, you remember what he said at the press conference?
1897?
That might be the best line of the year so far. Honestly, it might be hard to beat, even with, Masvidal's kind of getting weird with, some of his act and Usman and even Conor and all that shit. But man, that was the line where it was like he kept changing the amount of time, like 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, and then all of a sudden like 1897. And when it was done, it's like I think he meant that as a joke. Like I don't think it was I don't think he flubbed his words.
No, like I never missed weight. No, I never missed weight. Since 1897. Like, I love it, man. I love it.
Isn't it funny how I mean, even you and I mean, we do like this fight, but we were kind of complaining like it's not really merited and what does it really mean? And this guy's coming off a loss, but they do a few dance moves and they have some weird shit talk, and all of a sudden it's like really anticipated.
Right? I'm sold. You got me. Take my fucking money, man.
Exactly.
They earned it.
But I mean, obviously, you and I have been psyched for Wiley and Joanna, maybe even more than this fight. Now I think they're kind of even. But I do got to say, as we're about to get in the rewind, I give a shout out to the UFC, give credit where credit is due. That promo that they did for 248, amazing. It's one of the best promos I've seen in a good while.
So hype, man. So hype for it. Oh my God. This is why John Jones is jealous.
Is he?
Yeah.
It's not like people haven't been psyched for John Jones cards.
Of course not.
No, they have been psyched for him.
Well, not as much as Izzy. He's a new kid. He's getting all the promos and the light and shit. He just got an award in what, New Zealand? It's like their equivalent of the ESPYs. He was the first fighter to be awarded, the first fighter ever to be on this platform.
Ah.
So he's a big deal, man. So he's the cool kid in town.
Yeah, we're gonna talk John Jones. We're gonna get into Rewind in just a second. I do not want to continue this talk of Izzy and Jones. Not right now. Not ever really, because I don't want to see the fight. But I don't know. I don't know how much of it is warranted or not. How much they really hate each other. How much they're just trying to make money. But that's a story for another day. That was our intro. So let's get straight into the rewind of UFC 247. I wanted to talk about some fights that I did not mention last week, but were standouts for various reasons. Journey Newsome and Chaos Williams, I believe this was both their UFC debuts. And man, did they come out with a bang, literally. I mean, they knocked the fuck out of some guys in like a couple of seconds. That was amazing, and it was violent.
It's so crazy that one dude did it in like 38 seconds. And then Chaos is like, hold my beer. He did it in 27 seconds.
And man, was those the official times? I knew it was like, I think under a minute, but I did not know there was that short.
Yes, very short. It's just wild with these, these two fighters' stories too, because was it Newsom stepped in to fight Ricardo Ramos? Because Sergio Pettis got injured, right? So he stepped in to do that. He loses by decision. He gets a full camp. During this fight, he gets dazed. And then he goes to knock out his opponent. Like, his career is off to a wild start. I mean, I can't wait to see more of him. I'm just so impressed with him. I totally forgot that he stepped in for Sergio. Because you're like, oh, you got to watch, look out for this kid and this and that. And I'm like, who? And I was like, looking back, I was like, oh, this kid. Okay. So he went against a vet. He did really well without a full camp. And yeah, it's just amazing. 38-second knockout. Outstanding.
I wanted to highlight these guys, not just because of the finish and that they have crazy names, but I mean, I think the names kind of help them as well. But I haven't really been seeing too many UFC newcomers where I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna keep an eye on them. The only people I can think of recently, and it's been like probably over a year and a half, almost 2 years since they made their debut, was Sodiq Yusuff and Raoni Barcelos. Those are the only two when I saw them, I'm like, oh man, those guys I'm going to keep my eye on. It's been a while since I've been hyped for anybody, but these guys definitely caught my attention, and I know we weren't the only ones. Two more things were probably some of the biggest stories of the night. James Krause stepping in literally last minute. Like, you does not get more last minute than this against Trevin Giles. Actually, one thing that I did not hear that night and I did not keep up with later on, what happened to Giles' original opponent? Do you know?
He had a really rough weight cut and he was transported to the hospital. I think he had like too much water after the cut. Yeah, I forgot the amount of water he drank. It was a lot. So it wasn't good for him. So yeah, they needed someone to step in.
So he weighed in. He just wasn't able to make it to the fight.
Yeah, because of complications of hydrating again.
Oh, okay. I just thought it may have been an issue of he just had a tough weight cut in general and couldn't make the weight and went to the hospital type thing. So, okay, a little bit more nuanced. But regardless, James Krause steps in. I don't even know who he was cornering. He was going to corner somebody and just said, fuck it, I'll fight. I don't even know if he cut any weight. He may have cut a pound. I mean, he was definitely undersized in this one, but Jesus Christ, what a fight it was. I think it ended up even being fight of the night. Okay, I wanted to bring something up more on the serious side. I know you have a lot to say about Krause, and I will let you say it, but I feel conflicted about it because obviously he made some money on a day that he wasn't even expected to get paid. It's basically like finding money on the floor, obviously way exaggerated there because he took a beating for it, but he came up in that sense. He just got re-signed. He's been doing very well at welterweight. This loss doesn't really do anything to him because it wasn't his natural weight class and he took it literally last minute. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of positives. But if he won, it would have been all the positives. But he didn't. And it was a brutal fight, and he got beat down. And I don't know how long it's gonna be till he gets his other fight. I'm not saying that fighters shouldn't do this because I love this type of shit, but how much is our credit and our respect worth in this case to someone like Krause? Was the juice worth the squeeze type thing?
I mean, I guess you can say that because he almost walked away with 100K on 22 hours notice.
That is a
So,
lot of money. I mean, health
right?
it can health has no price, but at that point, you got me interested.
Right? So, I mean, he took it. He did great. He looked good for somebody that was supposed to corner. I think it was Mario. I forgot. But yeah, and I guess he walks around at 190. But since he's been, training with this kid so much and going hard, like he was already at 185. So he was already there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess in passing, like he was like, okay, I'll take the fight, not thinking that it was actually going to happen. And I guess around like 3 o'clock, he had like this deadline, and he didn't hear anything, so he didn't think it was going to go down. And he got the call at 3:45, said, yeah, you're in. Because I guess they already had a fight that got pulled anyways. And then if they would have pulled this one too, it would have been a disaster for ESPN because they had like certain time slots to fill. So he took it, which is smart, and he also negotiated a big payday because he knew that they needed this.
Yeah, use
So
it to your advantage at this point, man. This is not just some random fight. I mean, I guess in a way it is because you're literally fighting a dude off the street. I mean, no, in essence, that's basically what he did. But yeah, I mean, it's dangerous. It's
yeah.
dangerous for both guys, and yeah, Krause definitely deserved the payday.
And you know what's wild? Like everybody thought that Giles would just take an easy win, and he made it fun. Like Krause stepped in and like made it fun, made it entertaining. That's a man. Like I wouldn't mind if he had neon lights under his bed. Like it's cool. You got big ass balls, man. I
Oh
respect
my
you so
god.
much. What?
We, I started this conversation asking about, what is our respect worth and is the juice worth the squeeze? But obviously, he really's got your attention, Noreen. So
Oh yeah, man. That's
yeah, yeah. So who knows? Maybe it is.
Krause. You're available. I would like to train with you. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, very courageous, crazy shit that he did, and for Giles, obviously he's grateful to him because he got to fight. He still got his payday. He got to fight of the night out of it. And on top of that, Giles wins kind of everything because he was still taught some stuff. Obviously, we see he still needs to work on his ground game. He's still just a big, powerful athlete with not much else to offer as of right now. But it's like, okay, he lost, I think, his last fight. He wanted to address it. Obviously, this was last second notice, so it's not like he could prepare too much. But this showing him like there's levels to this, and this guy was a welterweight, a very respected welterweight, but there's still a ways to go. And I think he's walking away with all the W's in this fight.
Yeah, that's a man.
Another fight on the prelims that I wanted to highlight. Andre Ewell fought Jonathan Martinez. I thought this was going to be fight of the night. Even at the end of the night, there was a lot of great fights. So I thought this would be fight of the night. And I thought especially they would give it to Martinez, given that he lost a controversial decision. I was so caught up in the fight that I don't think I judged it properly. I think I initially thought that Martinez won when the score were announced, when the fight was over. But the way it went down, it really left a bad taste in people's mouth because one judge gave it 30-27 to Ewell, which is whether you thought Ewell won or not, that is a ridiculous scorecard. And this was the first of a few on this card of very unfortunate scorecards. I mean, did you think that Ewell won, first of all, Rain?
No,
You didn't? Okay.
no.
It was such an exciting fight, and there were so many variables because Martinez had really good kicks, and Ewell had really good punches. He's a better boxer, and doing flashy stuff, flying knees and stuff like that, knees to the body. But I think Martinez was more effective. I'm not mad if you give it to Ewell, but that 30-27 scorecard is what got everybody pissed because that was the deciding card, you know?
Yeah, it's sad too because um Martinez thought he did everything right, you know. I guess he went back and watched it a few times and he's like, yeah, I felt like I won. So he was being interviewed by Mike Heck from the scrap and yeah, he's still like really upset about it and they're going to go back and see if they can appeal, you know, the decision. Hopefully he can get a no contest, but he's like, I'm not looking for a rematch with this dude. I know I beat him, so no, I'm not doing it. But it's what's sad is he's from Texas and he's like, I'm not fighting in Texas again. I'm good. I'm not doing it here. The performance that he had, I guess that night immediately after the fight, they gave him another contract. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, so hopefully he gets this no contest, you know, he got this contract and then he could just go on and get another fight. But that's awesome that they believe in him and just immediately said, yeah, we're going to keep you your badass fighter.
I guess that's the only victory he can take at that point, you know. And it's funny they said I did not know that he did not want a rematch. I guess when you're at this level, you know, prelim fighters and only a few fights in the UFC, I guess yeah. Why would you? I've seen similar things with like Lauren Murphy and KGB, who you know I didn't ask KGB this yesterday. I don't know how she'd feel about it, but I think the consensus, like a lot of people feel that way. It's like, no, KGB won that fight. Why fight her again? I'm sure she'd do it, but it's like I don't know if she'd be willing to, if she would want to. And then even with Reyes and Jones at the main event, we're going to talk about it in detail in a bit, but it seems like that's the consensus around that one too, because not a lot of people are clamoring for the rematch, even though it was a pretty good fight and it was very close. But that was the story of 247 was shitty judging, horrendous judging, probably the worst I've seen maybe ever, especially in a UFC card. For sure, in a UFC card, probably the worst. And they've been in Texas quite a few times, and it's never been this bad. So those were the prelims that we wanted to talk about. Is there anything that you wanted to mention about KGB that maybe we didn't touch on that I didn't touch on the interview yesterday, or um, any thoughts that you had about the fight or anything regarding her?
No, I think you covered a lot in the interview.
I
So
just I was wanting to ask because I'm like in the moment I ran some stuff out and those things that I was interested in, but it wasn't totally fight related as far as that fight that night. You know, we talked about a
yeah,
variety of issues, so
yeah.
we're
You
kind of
touched
gonna
on
skip over this.
you touched on like the mouthpiece issue and
Mhm.
yeah, you talked about that because that came out what 3 times during that fight and
Mhm.
yeah, you covered other topics too. So yeah, I mean it is what it is. Like hopefully, like she was saying, like you know, just continue to watch. You know, follow her, support her. Just you know, if you like her fighting style, if you like to watch her fight, just definitely hop on because those numbers really do count.
And yeah, she's decided to take action with the commission. Obviously, just waiting and seeing at this point. She did ask for the commissioner to one of the commissioners to get fired if there's legit proof that he was looking at his phone instead of the fight. And I'm usually not a fan of like this guy should lose his job because it's usually for very dumb shit that doesn't really matter. But in this case, I do not see any point against it, any argument against what she's asking here. So if you guys want to go into detail, you want some more details about this stuff, go back, listen to our last show, interview with her. We go into detail about a lot of stuff. So yeah, Lauren Murphy won a controversial decision over KGB. I'm sure everyone knows that. So we'll move on to the main card. Derek Lewis fought Ilir Latifi. It wasn't very eventful. I mean, there was a flying knee in the first round. I think another one in the second or third. A lot of clinching, some takedowns that nothing happened, and then the last 30 to 40 seconds, Derek Lewis went full swanging and banging mode and just started wailing on Latifi and got a decision win. Like I was saying that I was very excited for this fight when we were talking about it last week. It's kind of what I expected. I guess I thought it'd be a little bit more exciting or at least more of a violent finish. But what did you think about the fight?
It's so crazy. I wanted a knockout for him because he was looking for it, but I had no idea that Latifi would even last that long with him. I mean, I think there's a point where like he like picked up Derek too. Nuts, man. But then again, like Derek, he's been like trimming down and whatnot too. So I mean, you got part of your banging whatever fight you wanted, crazy wild fight you wanted.
In micro doses.
Isn't it crazy that he wasn't supposed to fight, or he was advised not to fight?
Yeah, that was another piece of news that came out. Given that he fought here, we should just address it now because I think it's important. But yeah, he went on Hawani's show on Monday and said that he has a serious medical condition that, according to him, quote, life or death. And he did not seem like he was kidding. It's kind of hard to tell with Derek Lewis because he's such a clown, and I mean that in the most positive of ways. He's such a goofball and he's such a troll sometimes. But he seemed, as he said, deadly serious about it, and that's just sad to think about. I mean, you've said many times, Rain, he's a national treasure. He must be protected, and if this is the case, it does not seem like they're protecting him. He said he talked to the UFC doctors, and the UFC doctor said he should be fine. Which, how fucking convenient. Doctors that are getting paid by the promotion are saying, "Oh yeah, you're fine. Go out there and fight." It brings up questions. We've talked about Michael Bisping, of how much we respect him. He's in that Krause category. There's just some bad motherfuckers out there, and Derek Lewis is definitely one of them too. He's a bad motherfucker, but at what cost? I mean, Krause is one thing. He took a last minute fight, got beat up, but still did good in it. This one's like, if what he's saying is for real, and he could have died, I mean, that is way more negligent than Michael Bisping fighting with one eye. That's dangerous of it in itself, but worst comes to worst, he'll be blind. He'll still live. According to Lewis, it sounds like he could croak at any time, and I'm sorry to be blunt about it, but that's what it sounds like, according to him, because we don't know what it is.
Oh, it's crazy. I was listening to that interview he was having with Ariel, and they're going back and forth, joking around, and yeah, that's why I'm like, is this for real? Like he just casually like just started talking about it, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this real? Is he trolling us? It's sad if it's true because he's trimmed down. He's working on certain holes in his game. He's like, oh yeah, my back is good. That's why I can do flying knees. Like I told you, I can do this shit. It's just my back was fucked up. I'm like, God damn, like now we get to see this performance from him and he might be out forever. Whatever it is, I hope they figure it out and he's back. But if he's not, then he needs to just give him a franchise of Popeye's Chicken and McDonald's. Like just give him both. So he's set for life.
I would love to see Derek Lewis run a McDonald's.
Yeah, just give him that. Like, because he loves McRibs, and I think, God, I forgot what fight it was. Like, he was trying to get sponsorship, or somebody was trying to get sponsorship from Popeyes.
I think it was the DC fight, because that was the whole thing. Like, remember, like,
that's
man,
right.
Derek, why do you hate me? He's like, oh, you did the Popeyes chicken dirty, and it's like, oh, get him McDonald's, because that's his thing.
Yes.
And then remember there was that quote-unquote controversial poster of Boss Logic with they had the chicken wings and stuff, and it made it look kind of racist with the black dudes and the chicken if you're not in the circle.
Oh God.
Yeah. Good times. That was a funny time, but good time.
Yeah. So we always look forward to him like winning and saying things on the mic. So we're gonna miss that.
I hope that I'm ever at a fight here in LA where the crowd is as loud for whatever fighter may be as they were for Lewis, because so many people love Lewis around this country, shit, maybe around the world, but he was in his hometown, and my God, those people were deafening, man. I'd love to hear that kind of reaction for someone from here, but there's very few people out of LA, especially elite fighters. So, I mean, I guess I went to the Ronda Rousey Kat Zingano fight. The pop for her was very loud, but I still don't think it compares to what Lewis was doing. But props to Lewis. I hope he got drunk on Saturday. Hopefully not too drunk if his condition is very serious, but I hope he had a good time, and I hope he comes back if he's healthy, and if not, just call it a career, man, and be with your family and just take it easy, because life is short. We don't need it to be shorter for you. For a national treasure, as you say, Rain. Next up, Mirsad Bektic lost a decision to Dan Ige. A close fight in the sense that Bektic had his moments, but Ige was a better striker. He won where he needed to win. It was not the fight of the night that a lot of people thought. It was definitely competitive, but it just didn't live up to that hype. But my question now is with Bektic, we mentioned this before when we were doing the preview, is if Bektic can't beat Ige, that does not spell good things for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was competitive, but he still didn't beat him, and it was one of the decisions that actually went the right way. So my question right now is Bektic a bust, or is Ige that good, and is he really just the next bad dude at featherweight?
I think he's coming up. I think he's gonna be that guy. I mean, he's still young. He's 28. He's on a crazy 5 fight win streak now. Yep.
Yeah.
This makes it 5 now. He's fought some really good fighters, so I mean, hopefully he'll get somebody soon, so he can like crack in the top 15. I mean, you must be doing something good with Khabib, right? I mean, he was helping Khabib with the Abu Dhabi fight against Dustin. He's like been traveling all around with them and also like training, you know, out here himself. Like I think he trains, he coaches, he's juggling a lot, and yeah, it's fucking amazing, man. Everything that he's juggling and this fight that he took and on this crazy streak now. Yeah, I want to see more. Now, Bektic, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Is this going to be 2 fights that he's lost in a row?
Yeah, I think Emmett was his last fight, and that was a
Huh?
knockout.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Granted, it was a while ago, but still inactive. He's had a few injuries. He's been inactive several times in the past 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Knockout losses, very memorable knockout losses, especially the Elkins one. And then this one, it's not the worst thing in the world, but still, he did not get it done. And I did not say that with Ige that is he the next bad motherfucker, like doubting him or downplaying what he did. He's impressive and he's a good fighter. I'm just wondering if he really is that good, or is Bektic really like, did we miss the mark with him?
I don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, because he's had so many injuries too.
It happens all the time. I mean, shit,
Yeah.
people consider Cain Velasquez a legend, and his record could have been so much better if it wasn't for injuries. Dominic Cruz is a legend
Mm-hmm.
and hasn't done shit in years and didn't do shit before that. I mean, taking away, we're losing their prime because of injuries. Hopefully, with Bektic, he starts to get healthy, gets back on the winning track, and we can forget about this in a few years, but you never know. Some people, they just never heal properly, and that's the end of it for them. Hope he's healthy. Do not wish him bad. It was a good fight, hard fought fight, but he just didn't get the W. So props to Ige. Definitely excited for what's coming up next for him. Co-main event: Valentina Shevchenko absolutely dominated and TKO'd Kayla Shakagian in the third round for a finish win. Defends her belt for the third time, and all the talk afterwards was just how dominant she is and how nobody has a chance with her. I can't say I disagree. As I've said before, I'm not like hailing Shevchenko as the prophet and the Messiah and that she's unbeatable. She will be beat at some point. Right now, it's very tough to tell how or by who. So the talk became. I mean, I don't even really want to talk about the fight because it was just. I mean, she did some amazing kicks. Every round was something special, was something new. Elbow in the first round that cut her, not nasty, but got a cut on her. Threw some crazy kicks in the second round. The third round just dropped her. Well, just took her to the ground and just mercy stop, crucifix position, TKO. But who? It looks like Roxy or JoJo is next. Roxy Amataferre, Joanne Calderwood. I don't think either of them really have a chance as of right now. But if you had to bet money, gun to your head right now, who could win? If it was gonna happen, who could win this? What do you
Oh
think?
God, did you just say who could win?
Yeah, like obviously it's gonna be a dicey proposition as it is, but it's like gun to your head, someone's gotta take it. Who would you? put your money on?
I don't know. I like both. I don't know. And it's crazy. They both come out of the same gym.
They do, right? I wanted to talk about that too. Is like they train together, so
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of begs the question. I mean, Valentina says she's willing to fight all of them, so I'm willing to bet that they're just gonna pick one of them. But the most reasonable thing would be to have them fight each other. But then that begs the question: would they even fight each other? And that would really show who the number one contender is. But
What could possibly happen? Roxy versus Valentina.
that's the other thing. People were saying that that's kind of the more marketable fight because she beat Antonina. They could
Mm-hmm.
put that like blood feud rival of I'm gonna avenge my sister type thing.
Mm-hmm. And
And
she just
obviously
fought Macy
Macy Barber, yeah.
Barber, that's been looking for that shot at the title. Probably won't get it for a very long time now. Yeah, I mean, it just the stars are aligning for this to happen for
So
Roxy.
you think the UFC is looking at Roxy because it makes more sense with the marketability, sellability.
Yes, because she's hot right now.
Yeah.
She's trending right now. Everybody's talking about her. Well, after the fight, everybody talked a lot about her, and then when Lauren Murphy called her out too, her name popped up again, and then next thing you know, they're talking about, okay, well, here's 3 of these fighters that could be, potential opponents for Valentina. 3 as in Jennifer Maya, but who knows if she's gonna move up because she's missed so much. She's missed weight so much. So
I'm willing to bet she's not because the UFC wants Shevchenko to just keep dominating girls. I think at this point they don't really care too much whether she makes weight or not because at the end of the day it's probably going to be a highlight reel for Shevchenko. Not saying that Maya's an easy opponent. I still respect her skills. She is a good fighter, but she's not making weight. Whether it's because of motivation or physical things, I don't know. But I think they just want to set up pins so Shevchenko can knock him down. And I don't want to be disrespectful towards Roxy or Joanne or Maya, any of those girls. They're very tough and they're very good. But I gotta say, with Roxy, I think you're right. I think it makes more sense. And regardless of how this fight plays out, we do not think it will end too well. But props to her for just getting all this attention. She's been at this for so long, and it seems like she's finally getting the respect she deserves and the attention she deserves.
yeah, when was it Jose Young's on A Side live chat? He mentioned like, okay, what about this scenario? Roxy and Valentina, they fight in Russia. It's a perfect place because that was where Roxy beat Antonina. And now she could just get that fight back for her sister in Russia, where they fought before. So it would be a perfect plan. And plus, Roxy's marketable right now, so I mean, it could happen in Russia. They'll be like the main event.
Yeah, like on a fight night, especially with the
Mm-hmm.
time difference, that's not going to be a pay per view or anything.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It could happen there.
So JoJo at this point, I guess what maybe fights Lauren Murphy if that's going to be the way, unless she really wants to wait. That seems like what should be next for her, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could throw Maya in there too, but she wouldn't be deserving of it. But then again, what the fuck do we know? We say that word and it doesn't mean anything anymore.
no. But yeah, JoJo's ranked number 3, so she should be next. I can't believe that Jessica I tweeted out, like, what did she say? Can I please have this match, or I'm begging for this rematch or something? And then she just got like elbow surgery or something. Did you see that? That she
Yeah,
posted
I saw a picture shortly before we went on. Yeah. I feel bad always saying anything about Jessica I because I met her and she was very kind to me. I mean, granted, it was like at a meet and greet at a UFC fight, but she ain't all there sometimes. And I'll
Yeah,
just kind of leave it there.
yeah,
Main event, obviously, very controversial decision. John Jones won a unanimous decision. This is one of those things when people say, oh, there should have been a split decision, which is a really idiotic statement. In this case, you can almost see why that should make sense because the fact that not one of these judges scored it for Reyes is pretty amazing. And the fact that one judge gave 4 rounds to Jones, which is the same judge that gave a 30-27 to Ewell. I don't think he judged the KGB fight, but it doesn't matter. Oh, he also gave round 1 to Trevin Giles in the James Krause fight, which is the most clear round of the fight that he did not win. Just all badness all around. And these are the only 3 fights that this guy judged from what I heard. So all that aside, first things first, the most obvious thing, Reen, did you think Jones won?
No. Oh.
Have you rewatched the fight?
Yeah.
And both times you did not think he won?
Yeah.
I did think he won when I watched it initially. I knew it was going to be close, and I suspected whether he won or not that they were going to give it to him. I was a bit in the moment, so I didn't judge it thoroughly. And I watched it the next morning, and I thought Reyes won. And I thought he won pretty clearly.
Like 3-2, right?
Yeah, first 3 rounds, yeah. I mean, it to me, it seems like the scorecards were kind of all over the place. Dana alluded to that at the presser. And I've seen it's mostly for Reyes. There's some people for Jones. Some people even have a draw. But I think it comes down to that 3rd round. I think whether you think Jones or Reyes won that 3rd round is how you scored that fight. Because the first 2 rounds, I think, were undeniably Reyes. The last 2 rounds were for sure Jones. And it's just a matter of that 3rd round of who you think won it. I think he pretty clearly won. But like we alluded to earlier, there doesn't seem to be any clamor for a rematch. And it makes almost no sense because this is exactly what we should be waiting for in fights like this, especially of this high of stakes.
Yeah, I don't understand why there's no talks about it because, I mean, again, it was a controversial fight for Jones. Like, questionable fight for Jones, right? We had it with the Thiago Santos fight. Now this one's a little bit more clear, though. You know, we both agree, like, Reyes won that. And I think a lot of people do, too. Even, like, Jones fans.
A few, because I'm starting to see Jones fans are getting, like, borderline Conor McGregor level where, like...
Oh, God.
You know, there's some fans that even though they may have even thought that he lost that fight, they're like, fuck it, I'm glad he won because he's pissing off all the Jones haters. It's like those people in politics, you know, there's like certain people that like they don't even like certain people like, oh, but I hate the Democrats, so I like what Trump does, or I like what so and so is doing because it pisses off these people. Like it's like getting to that level, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just nonsense. But yeah, you're right. Obviously people were kind of forgetting the Santos fight. That was a close one. And I think a lot of people were clamoring for that rematch afterward, and then we realized how fucked up Santos was, and we realized that wasn't going to happen, so we kind of shut up about it. And this one, I mean, it was a hell of a fight. They could barely walk afterwards, and it's not surprising why. But I think they can do it again fairly easily, especially that I know we're going to talk about Corey Anderson and Jan Blachowicz coming up in the preview. They're fighting this weekend. The time frame should work out, but there's not a lot of contenders at light heavyweight. I don't see the big deal in either Jan Blachowicz or Corey Anderson waiting a little bit more so they can do this one. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe people are just sick of Jones. I mean, maybe the lack of controversy as of late, out of competition controversy. You know, there was no pulsing, there was no picograms, there was no dick pills, nothing like that going on this week. So I think people are just like, if Jones isn't all fucked up, drugged up, and being an asshole, I don't really care for his fights. I almost feel like that some people have that opinion.
Yes, I think you're right. Like it's just boring now.
Just boring, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like
trying to do the right thing, and it just sucks all the wind out of the room.
Yeah, like the past 3 fights went all 5 rounds, and even the Anthony Smith fight, there was some sort of controversy, right? Because it was an illegal knee.
Yeah, I mean, it was a clear dominant win for Jones, but he still got him with a legal knee. It still wasn't a 50-45 because he did something really stupid.
Right. So, like, the past 3 fights, there's some sort of issue with them. All went to decision, and it's like, okay, now what? Now who are you going to fight? And then the last 2 fights they were coming up in weight. It wasn't even their original, division. I don't know, man. I don't know what Jones needs to do from this point. Maybe go to heavyweight and secure his legacy, or do this rematch with Reyes in a better state with better judges, and let's see what happens. I'd rather see this rematch more now than the Santos one.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
think
a
it's gonna
Santos
take.
fan.
Yeah. I think it's gonna take a while. I'd love to see Santos and Reyes to determine the next number one contender, but I don't think the time frame is gonna line up well.
No, but I mean, I think Reyes deserves it more with
Oh,
the
for sure.
rematch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying this that he doesn't deserve it. It's just more of a it'd be fun type thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if they're gonna have a rematch, they need to just do it this year. I mean, we're not gonna sit here and wait years and years and years for a damn rematch.
Like Gustafson.
Like DC.
Yeah, that too.
I don't know. So how good is Demetrius Johnson? I just want to throw that out.
You know what? It's funny because I've heard people. I saw someone tweet this and yeah, I want to say it was G from State Farm, G Spot MMA. I don't know her name. A lot of drama going on my Twitter that I'm not gonna go about it right now. But I think it was her. She tweeted something like, "How are there people that think that John Jones won that fight, but they're okay with Demetrius Johnson losing to Cejudo?" And I hadn't thought about that before. I guess just because I haven't thought of DJ in a while, I was like, that is a good point. I kind of did think Cejudo won, so I wasn't mad about that decision. But I also think Reyes won, so it's like I'm kind of in line with that. But yeah, you can't be opposed in that situation. The way that she worded it is like, yeah, that is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep thinking whenever these type of things happen, I'm still kind of under the idea that GSP is the GOAT. I know he had a controversial decision or two, especially with Johnny Hendricks towards the end of his career. But he came back years later and knocked out, yeah, Michael Bisping, one-eyed or not. I still think that's a remarkable accomplishment.
He
But,
couldn't see.
well, yeah, but he also couldn't see with other people and he still beat them.
Well, I was trying to defend you, Bisping.
I love Bisping, I do, but I like GSP too, and yeah, yeah, that was a big feather in his caps. And then the fact that John hasn't gone up yet, and a lot of people think he should already. I don't know. I'm just seeing like a lot of boxing tactics of his of just not going up and or quote unquote waiting for the right time, even though he's not so young anymore. I don't know. I think at the end of all this, I just think I'm just sick of Jones for now. It's not good that he got hurt. I don't want him to be all injured and shit. It was a tough fight, but if anything, this means that we're not going to see him for a while, and it's probably for the best, so he can get either his life in order, his training camp in order, see about other coaches, about life choices, whatever he may have to do to get back on top, because people always talk about how good he does in rematches. Who knows if this is going to happen, but if I was him, I would be preparing like if a rematch is underway, because I would not be happy with this performance.
Not a good look when you're like trying to defend yourself and going back and forth on Twitter, and not good for his image.
Obviously, Dominic Reyes deserves a lot of credit for his performance, but I got to give him extra credit. He did something that I've been clamoring for years when fighting John Jones. He wasn't just bitching at the ref about the open fingers. The ref kind of caught it, but even when he was still doing it, he stopped talking and he started punching Jones in his hands and his fingers, which is something that people should have been doing for years with him. And he was the first fighter in how many fights to actually do that. So I hope people start taking that. Especially if you're fighting Jones, you should really look at that. But even if you're not, someone's doing that to you, just start punching their fingers, man. It's a good tactic. So props to Reyes on that one. Wanted to talk about Invicta 39. Invicta FC 39 happened on Friday night last week. Jinyu Frey missed weight. We kind of talked about that last week, and she missed weight. She beat Ashley Cummings in a fun fight, but she's no longer champion because that belt was vacated and she wasn't eligible to win it. Pro Gonzalez lost to Miranda Maverick. She was pretty dominant in that fight. I'm very excited to know what's coming next for Maverick because she's now a contender. She's no longer the young prospect. And there was a highlight reel knockout by Erin Blanchfield against Victoria Leonardo. And I know you saw this one, Reen, and this girl is going places. What did you think about that one?
It was beautiful. Holy shit. Crazy. What round was that anyways?
Second.
Yeah.
She had dropped her, I believe, two times with it, and then on the third time just cracked her good and put her down. And Leonardo's a tough chick, and she's a pretty decent striker in her own right. This was supposed to be striker versus grappler, and she flipped the tables on that shit.
Yeah, good for her.
And she's so young. I mean, limitless potential. People talk about Barber's potential, and regardless of what we feel about her or not, she's young and she definitely has potential. But Blanchfield's even younger, and she has an extensive martial arts background. So this, in jiu-jitsu, and now with this, man, she's one to look out for. So watch that. Go back on Fight Pass, watch that, catch highlights. Do yourself a favor and do that. So that does it for the rewind. So let's get into the preview of UFC Rio Bravo coming up this weekend. First up on the prelims, Haulia Paiva. I can never say that guy's name right. I'll eventually get it right. Haulia Paiva is fighting Mark De La Rosa. Flyweight fight. Flyweight's been getting good. Weirdly enough, after DJ left, I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm glad he's gone.
Why you gotta mention that?
Come on, tell me I'm wrong. There was like some light in there when he left. I don't wish he would have, but it all of a sudden got exciting. Kai Kara-France, Brandon Moreno, that one Russian dude, Asmagov or whatever his name is.
They were always there though.
I know, but it started getting really exciting as of late. I don't know why. Maybe they just got hope.
They needed to step up their game.
Well, they did now, because it's hella exciting now.
It's not DJ's fault they were bland.
I guess. Regardless of that, they have really stepped their games up, and I commend them. But this should be a fun fight. Paiva is a ground specialist, as is De La Rosa, but Paiva's also got like a little bit of that hood street mentality. He's very aggressive with his punches, very sloppy at times, which is very fun, and he's just down for a war.
Yeah,
if this stays standing, it could be fun. But if it goes to the ground, I think it could be even more fun. So, what do you think, Green? Who do you got?
Oh, man, this one's hard. I'm gonna go with De La Rosa.
You know what? I like Paiva, and I am kind of rooting for him. But yeah, I think it'll stay mostly on the ground, and I think it'll be close. But De La Rosa should win.
Yeah,
so
that's just too wild, man.
I'd love to see him. I know Brandon Moreno is really high up there, so this would not be like a good fight for him. But stylistically, I'd love to see that fight. It'd be so fun. They're like almost the same guy.
Especially with him fighting the way he is now.
Yeah, it'd be like the Spider-Man meme, pointing at one another. Yeah, next up, Macy Chiasson was supposed to fight Nico Montano, but she had an injury, pulled out, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. So she will now be fighting Shanna Young, who was on the Contender Series in one of her last fights and is an Invicta alum. Shanna Young is a very, very fun prospect, and Macy Chiasson is obviously very dangerous, but... Well, what do you think, first of all, about Nico's pullout?
That's so sad. Did they say what it was, the injury?
I did read it, and I don't know why I can't. It doesn't come to mind right now. I want to say it's a partial MCL tear, something in her knee or her leg. Pretty sure.
Oh, that's not a good look, man. Like, do you think she'll get cut with all these issues?
It's an injury. I mean, I don't know how it happened. I don't know if there was any detail of like, did she trip over something? Has she had this injury? She didn't tell anybody. Did it just start acting up? I remember we were talking about Derek Lewis earlier with his back. I remember he stepped out a day before the fight. I think like before weigh-ins, he didn't even get on the scale because he was having like really bad back spasms. So, I mean, it's happened. Dan Henderson with John Jones, he pulled out in the last week, and they canceled the goddamn fight, the whole card because of it. But, I mean, it's not unheard of. It's just, it doesn't seem like Dana and the UFC's too fond of her, so I really don't think there's any telling.
Yeah, because she's had a rocky start to her career, and there's just a lot of negativity towards her. So
yeah, the amount of people that are just hating on her, like, oh, can you believe she was champ? Like, it's not her fault that the UFC decided to promote a belt in a weird fucking way and only signed like 3 good flyweights when they were on the, doing the tough series. Like, the fuck, man.
I mean, that belt was Valentina's to begin with. That division was built for her. So, yeah, doing that, like, it really did put Nico in a bad spot. I mean, she did what she needed to do, you know, being on the Ultimate Fighter, but like, why hate on her? She did really well, and it's not her fault. I mean,
I
all the
think,
issues she's had and the weight cutting issues, like, it
yeah,
happened.
I think it's the weight issue, and then she never fought Valentina. I remember, they
Yeah,
stripped
two
her, and then she
times.
ended up fighting. Yeah, she ended up fighting Joanna for the vacant belt. So I don't know. I think people still have that thing of her. Like, I see a lot of comparisons to GDR because it's like, oh, she was a champion. It's like, well, so was GDR, and she vacated it, and she didn't want to fight so and so. People
Come
are so adamant that she never wanted to fight Valentina. She was scared of her. I'm like, okay. But I don't know. I really think it's the Shevchenko fanboys and fangirls because they get very cultish with her too. I mean, I don't see it anymore because Amanda is such an amazing fighter. Nobody's talking shit about Amanda Nunes, but remember when Nunes pulled out of her, like she's scared of her, even though she'd already beat her once. Like
on. Oh
that's the
yeah, that's
dumbest
right.
shit. So
Yeah,
I think it's just Shevchenko fanboy syndrome.
yeah. Even Dana was pissed with Nunes, and now they're like buddies.
Yeah, you beat Cyborg, so fuck yeah, you're my girl. Um,
The only true champ.
yep. Yeah. So as I said, Shasan got a opponent change, fighting Shanna Young. Uh, this is such a tough fight for me to call. And you know what? I'm gonna go with Shanna Young. Macy Shasan, I believe in her. I think this will be fun, but I don't know. That Lena Landsberg fight was so weird. And with an opponent change, I think she's just, especially that Montano is mostly a grappler. I think she was, improving off of what she was doing in the Lena fight, trying to, her coaches are probably just telling her wrestle, 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 and now Young is more of a striker and a bit more wild than her. I think she can come up on top here.
What weight does she normally fight at?
I think she's a flyweight because 135 seems a little high for me for that one because she's not a skinny girl, but she's definitely fit. Like she has an impressive body. She's not Jin Frey level, like all ripped up, but she definitely takes care of herself. So yeah, I want to say she's a flyweight.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's that the size difference, and then Shayna is what? She's coming from Invicta.
Yeah, she was on the Contender Series. I don't think that was her last fight, but maybe her second to last fight. She did good, but she did not get picked. But yeah, she usually fights in Invicta.
Okay, so she's making her UFC debut on short notice. That might be an issue. You know, issue. She's on the big the big stage now. So I'm just gonna go with Macy. I still believe in her.
Gotcha. I do too. It's just I don't know. With the last minute changes as of late, them having good success, I'm just kind of a believer in the take it while you can and do the best you can and probably work out for you. Last prelim, John Dodson is fighting Nathaniel Wood. I believe we covered this when it was first announced, and I do not feel any differently about it as when we first covered it. I do not see a path to victory for John Dodson. I don't think he is who he once was, and I think Nathaniel Wood has all the hype behind him and for all the right reasons. I don't know if he'll finish him because Dodson is kind of tough to finish. I can see it, but I don't think it's likely. So I'm just gonna say Nathaniel Wood's gonna win a dominant decision.
Same.
I
Why
mean, there
they
really
make so much like
really not much to add here, huh?
no, it's just it's sad. You're right. He's not the same. John Dodson's not the same guy. He's not the magician anymore.
And he's had a lot of fights, and who knows? Maybe that Demetrius Johnson fight, the rematch, is kind of what I think. After that one is when he kind of started slipping. Like he just kind of he went up in weight, and yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He had a great performance when he did go up in weight when he fought Manny. I mean, it was like a first round finish.
Yeah,
And then ever since, it's just been like one win here, one loss here, and he hasn't fought. Yeah, he hasn't fought since he fought Peter Yan in February last year.
Yeah.
Peter Yan kind of changed his life.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Hmm?
Oh. So that's that. Getting to the main card, Lando Venata.
Oh,
I'd almost forgot about him. He's fighting Yancy Medeiros, and I did not even know of this fight. I did not remember this fight, nothing up until this week. And Jesus Christ, this can legitimately be fight of the year.
yeah.
Like not even an exaggeration. The way that Lando fights, if he's up to snuff as he usually is, we get that Tony Ferguson Lando Venata, and that Alex Oliveira Yancy Medeiros. If we get them at their best form, Jesus Christ, this is gonna be ungodly.
God, Yancey got murdered by Gillespie. God, that was an awful fight. Wonder if he's ready for Orlando.
Well, luckily Lando's not a wrestler. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
he's gonna
But
indulge Yancey and all the shit he wants to do.
yeah, but is he ready for it? He's another one that's like he does well, then it's like loss here, win here, loss here, win here, dominated. I'm just gonna go with Lando.
I'm gonna go with Yancey. I don't know. Lando tends to lose like close decisions, and I think there's gonna be a decision that is gonna
Oh,
be close. So I think Yancey's gonna win it, if anything, just for that. And remember, I think he's gotten 2 draws. So shit, this could be a draw. Draw is a reasonable guess here. So I'll just say Yancey barely edges it out,
huh,
whether it's by barely getting a scorecard or barely actually winning. So yeah,
yeah,
Yancey, I think, probably takes it.
yeah. Odd makers have it nearly even, so
Yeah,
yeah.
they're too wild. They're too wild to predict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Next up, Montana De La Rosa is fighting Mara Romero Borella. I actually said it right this time. Yes, she is the wife of Mark De La Rosa, who was on the prelims. She got the higher spot here, obviously. And Mara Romero Borella is one of the first flyweights that the UFC signed, I want to say. I think she may have actually literally been the first one. And she's had a decent record. I don't know why I just haven't been high on her. I just haven't really gone on board with her. She's a very good grappler, but so is Montana. And I think she's, especially after the KGB fight, I think she's really going to be working on her striking. I don't think she wants to get beat up like that again. So I'm just expecting improvement out of Montana, and I think she can take this somewhat handily against Borella.
I'll just go opposite then.
I'm not saying it's not going to be a close fight. It's just I don't know. I don't know why I just haven't bought into Borella too much. I think this will be a good test.
Hmm.
Win or lose for her. I think it'll show something about her because Montana is. I still believe she can be a contender someday. I just think it might take a while. Next up, co-main event. Diego Sanchez is fighting Michelle Pereira.
Oh God.
This fight is possibly one of the craziest bookings I've seen from the UFC in a good long while. Obviously, they're in New Mexico. Diego Sanchez is from Albuquerque. He's supposed to be the hometown guy. Michelle Pereira, I do not know what to expect from him. I mean,
Gas out.
yeah, obviously that's the matchup in essence. Is a guy with a limitless gas tank who's wild as fuck, but just super aggressive, and Michelle Pereira who has no gas tank and is wild, but in the most ineffective, ridiculous way.
Exactly. This is wild.
He has said himself that he's not planning to change even after the Tristan Connolly loss, and I believe him. And Sanchez obviously isn't who he once was, and his chin ain't exactly all there, but he's still been looking okay as of late. I think the smart choice is Sanchez, but I still don't like. I'm gonna pick him, but I can expect. I still can see Pereira doing some crazy shit and actually winning this time. I don't know why.
No.
You don't
I'm
think
going.
so? I
No.
just like I said, I'm going for Sanchez. I'm not gonna be surprised if it goes the other way.
I'm sure he'll do something crazy, but Diego's just gonna eat it because he's a wild man. I mean, he doesn't go down. He's that man. Like, no, he'll keep coming. He proved that in the Chiesa fight. Like, you can't put him down. There's no fucking way. He's not going to make it out. There's no way. His gas tank sucks. If he's not going to change, then there's no way. They're not doing him any favors matching him up against this crazy man doing yes cartwheels. Did you see that? He's doing yes cartwheels.
He's still doing them? Okay. I'm sure Michelle Pereira is going to follow it up with like a 720, 300, backflip and shit. But
this is something I invented. It's the yes cartwheel.
This is the homeless man's version of Izzy and Yoel dancing off.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you know that February 15th, 2012 is when, it's when Diego Sanchez walked out with that damn cross.
Oh, shit.
Yes, that anniversary is coming up.
Praise Jesus. This should be dope. Please do it again.
Yeah, so I wonder if wouldn't that be dope if he did bring it back?
Please, that is one of my favorite moments in MMA history.
Fun fact there. So I have that video queued up and I'm going to post it on our Instagram on Saturday. But yeah, it's the anniversary.
Nice. And thank you for doing that. Yeah, people need to remember that. And if you're a newbie and you have no idea what we're talking about, you're in for a treat. Yeah, thank you for that, Reen. So we're both going with Sanchez. You have more confidence than I do, but yeah, I guess that is a safe pick in this one.
I hope Diego knows that the anniversary is coming up and he's more fired up to put this guy away.
He was probably in such a trance. He probably doesn't even remember doing it. It was just like so in the moment. He just like blacked out.
I love him. Like, I don't want him to fight anymore. But at the same time, it's like, it's entertaining to watch. Everything that comes with it, like, outside of the octagon, all his interviews and whatnot. So, which I need to catch up on.
You go ahead and do that one. I've done a lot of work with the podcast and stuff this week. But anyway, I'll definitely be watching this. It should be fun. Main event time. Corey Anderson is fighting Jan Blachowicz again. He beat him unanimous decision a few years back. I don't really know what to add here. I mean, he looked impressive knocking out Johnny Walker. Obviously, people were very high on him. Jan Blachowicz is coming off of he knocked the fuck out of Luke Rockhold, but then he had one of maybe the most boring fight of last year against Jacare. So different trajectories as far as their last fights go. I don't really see how it's going to go any different than the first fight.
I don't either. And we got angry Corey.
Is he still angry? He didn't let that go?
I don't think so. I mean, people think, he thinks that people are overlooking him and he wants that title shot next. So, yeah.
People are always going to overlook him, man. But, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Maybe good for him. Maybe good for him if that's what he needs. I don't know if he's going to knock out Blachowicz. I mean, it's not like he's got like an iron chin and he's never been knocked out, but I don't think he's going to be as wild like he was with Johnny Walker. Because Johnny Walker is obviously a wild man, but he did leave himself open quite a bit. So I wasn't that surprised by that finish. But yeah. I think it's just going to be a wrestling clinic. And I have no doubt that Anderson can go 5 rounds. So I think he's just going to, if he does get a finish, it'll probably be like a TKO in the late 4th or 5th.
It'll be like the Jacare fight, only, Corey will be dominating him and taking him down.
Yeah, I think it'll be definitely more dominant because Jacare, they just seemed like they just didn't want to fight.
No, and Jan didn't want to engage It was hard for him to take him down, but I mean, Jacare was coming up in weight, so.
And there was that fear because, like, well, even if you could take him down, do you really want him there?
Right, exactly. So, and in Corey's case, he's angry, and he will take you down.
Good points.
Yeah, he beat you before, so like, okay.
Good points all around. So yeah, that's UFC Rio Bravo happening on Saturday on ESPN Plus, both the prelims and the main card. So let's get into this week's headlines. First up, something that we spoke about in the interview with KGB. So much like the topic of Andrea Lee and her Lauren Murphy fight, is there anything that you want to add to this, Reen, about the Invicta scoring criteria for the next bout? And for you guys that don't know, Invicta announced that for their next Phoenix Rising card happening next month, they're gonna have open scoring. It's a bit weird because it's the Phoenix Rising is only a round, so it doesn't matter. They have open scoring because you're gonna find out at the same time. But there still are some 3 round fights, in which case that will be beneficial to them, and especially at the end of the night, that is a multiple round fight, so they're gonna need that. But what do you think about this going forward?
I hope it works so the UFC can adopt it. Like, why
Yeah.
do we get to know what the scores are, but they don't? The coaches don't.
Well, we don't even know. I mean, nobody knows aside from the
Yeah.
judges.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's true, but we kind of know, right? Because we're
I,
seeing it from a bird's eye view, so to speak. But
I mean, yeah, at home you have the best view for sure because you
yeah,
catch everything.
right. So I think it's a good thing. Hopefully it works out, do more of it, and then, yeah, the UFC adopts it. I mean, why not?
I think it really is dependent on how it plays out, how the fights play out, especially if fights go to decision. That's not the tournament fights because this isn't Kansas. This isn't even in Missouri. Not that either state has great commissions. I mean, Missouri is just a little bit more well known. I hope it's not a one off, but I think it could be depending on how the fights. If it's like all finishes or like really dominant wins and they judge it correctly, no one's gonna really talk about it. But if there's some fuckery afoot, it's definitely gonna make it's gonna start hitting the websites and stuff. So yeah, I'm waiting for it. KGB and I kind of said the same thing of like it can. I think it can definitely help fighters out. If that's the case, then I'm on board with it. So that was that news. Another news: Cowboy Cerrone says that he got paid a flat fee for UFC 246, his fight against Conor McGregor. If I recall correctly, I think he got paid 500,000, which isn't a bad payday at all. But given his seniority and the level of fight and how big that fight was against Conor, it really is peanuts.
Yeah. It's sad. He'll just take any fight.
Cowboy's definitely a quantity, not quality guy. Which is funny because we said the same thing about Conor McGregor this week in very different aspects, but they're kind of the same guy.
Man, you slipped it right in.
I did not mean to. It's just I said the words and it came to mind.
Like Connor did with Snaggletooth.
Oh man, is that her
Dark,
name now?
that dark tooth.
Oh shit. This is just internet speculation. There's nothing to prove that. If you guys don't know, just go on Twitter. Some girl posting a video of her apparently post coitus with Conor McGregor, and she was not great looking. But that's beside the point. That doesn't have much to do with anything, but it is just something fun happening online this week. At least there was reasonable debates around that one, and not group chat drama between males and females on fucking Twitter. But that's another subject for another day. Anyway, Cowboy getting paid a flat fee, no pay-per-view points. He's coming towards the end of his career. I mean, it's really too late to even do anything at this point, right? I mean, he is who he is, and what's done is done, and it's going to keep happening.
Yeah. It's just sad that he's doing it though, because he's been in the game so long. You finally get this opportunity to get like a big payday. You just take the first offer. That's what it sounds like to me. Because I mean, Connor's getting 3 million, or maybe even more, because we don't know what else he's getting with that, right?
Yeah, well,
So
Connor's definitely getting points. I mean, he definitely got more than 3 million.
yeah, so like it's just insane. Like he's doing a disservice to his fellow fighters by just taking the first offer like that, or whatever offer like that. Because I'm not sure if he just went and said okay, but with Cowboy's personality and just him being a corporate guy, I see him doing that.
Yeah, there was similar arguments regarding Ronda Rousey back in the day because it sounded like she would do a similar thing of just like, yeah, I'll take whatever you give me. There were good paydays. They're better paydays than Cowboy usually, but still, she didn't try to play hardball with him. Conor, say what you will about the guy, he did not get here by just saying yes. He's always played hardball with the UFC. I mean, when he fought Dustin Poirier, he was like 3 fights in, he was making like $80,000 to show and to win. I mean, he was making ridiculous money, and you know what? Looking back at it now, he definitely earned it because he was commanding attention even then. So you can say many things about Conor, but he's definitely not dumb in the business realm.
It's crazy. James Krause, 100K, 22 hours. Conor McGregor versus Cowboy Cerrone, 500,000. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a disparity there, but when you look at the difference in competition, like Jesus Christ. And then this begs the question too. What if Cowboy would have won? The fee is the fee. He was going to get paid what he was going to get paid, so that I don't think there was a win bonus there, but okay, then what? He's next in line for Khabib or Ferguson, or I mean, he's obviously going to have a big fight next. Is he still going to take 500K, or was he going to play hardball then, or is the UFC going to be super generous to him then? I mean, where was he going to go? What was he going to do?
Just be the same old cowboy. Ride motorcycles, jump out of airplanes, do all that crazy shit.
I really fear for him post fight because he
Yeah.
should have enough money to like retire happily, but he loves a bunch of, he loves to
Well,
spend the money.
yeah, well, he's
And then he
making
had all that
movies.
IRS trouble too, remember?
Yeah. Well, he's making, well, he's in movies now and doing other things too, so good for him. But wouldn't you want to have something left for your child or your, future children, or so you don't have to work and just be at home and ride motorcycles all day? And like, it just seems like he's always buying something or doing something, right? And he has to keep that his property up with whatever he does, right? He has a gym on his property. He has what,
Yeah, I
the
mean, he has a
apartments.
ranch. Yeah, he has a ranch, for God's sakes.
Yeah, the apartments for the fighters and keeping heat during the winter and all this and that. Like,
Livestock.
oh yes, and that too. All the animals and
Those shits are expensive. It is not cheap to keep animals around, especially hogs and cows and horses.
then just healthcare, especially for him. Like, how much does it cost for him?
And it's crazy because he's never pulled out of a fight with an injury, but obviously we know he's been injured quite a few times. Definitely during before fights and clearly after and during fights. So
Yeah, I think he's
that's
had
why,
more injuries outside of his fights.
yeah.
So yeah, with the crashes and what, something with his lungs. Did his lungs collapse? Something crazy
Oh
happened.
no, no, no! When he was young, I think he got his intestines were like almost fell out of his body because he had a ATV crash that nearly killed him.
Yeah, he's had that and long list of just injuries. So crazy, but yeah, I'm just sad that he took that payday.
Yeah, I guess in this point it is what it is. Next up, Michelle Prazeres is accepting a 2-year suspension from USADA. This guy should. I usually don't like to talk about USADA. I kind of fancied myself kind of the anti-doping slash doping guy when I was first trying to write and do all this stuff online because I was very interested in it, and I really did not like people who violated, drug tests. But now with USADA, everything's, there's such fuckery afoot. We didn't even mention with Diego Sanchez, he got a suspension by USADA just a few weeks ago, and it just so happened to expire this week as fight week's coming up. So I mean, all kinds of shit's happening with them. But in the case of Michel Prazeres, I wanted to cover this because if you look at the guy, you might test positive for steroids.
If you look at him, huh? If you shake his hand,
Jesus Christ, man, the acai is strong in this boy.
right? He's bodied up, crazy. But I mean, then you
Like
have
I'd
pasta.
love I'd love to go to the gym with him one day and like take away all the machines, anything regarding the arms, like just treadmills. just treadmills, just stairmasters. Like no arm shit for this guy. Nothing. I don't want to see anything with him working on his arms. He might want to kill himself. He has not skipped arm day one day in his life.
Crazy.
But I mean, there's nothing to add here.
Like, what do you expect? Like, look at him.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a smart thing to say things like that, like just look at him. But in this case, geez, if you guys don't remember who this is, just look him up. You'll remember as soon as you see him because he hasn't really fought in a while. His nickname is Tractor, yes, like tractor, and he definitely looks like a fucking tractor. And he's suspended now because of some weird molecule that should have been his body, but just he's lucky he got 2 years, really. He really is. Last bit of headline news. Few fighters got cut. Many fighters, I think damn near a dozen. Among them was Juan Adams, who lost this last weekend to Justin Tafa. Lucy Pujilova, who is a bit of a fan favorite, show favorite here on the podcast. And Ben Saunders, who is very good, but hasn't looked great as of late. What do you think about these cuts, Rain?
I don't like them because there are people out there that should not be in the UFC right now, but they are.
Well, you've mentioned about Pudilova. You've mentioning for weeks that you do not want to see her cut, but you think she might, and it finally happened.
It happened. So yeah,
Juan Adams is another show favorite, and I'm not surprised about him, but
no, it just sucks, man. I was gonna tweet something to Pudilova because she put a statement out, but I'm like, oh, never mind. I was gonna tell her, I heart you, I'll miss you.
I think, I mean, she's from Europe. She's from Czech Republic, and I believe she still lives there. So I don't know if she's gonna want to come to the States all that much, and because the UFC's strength, across the world of how big they are. Obviously, there was a lot of Asia and Europe cards that she could be on. I'd love to see her in Invicta. I think Invicta would be a good, a good match for her with the talent level that they have there and the style that she brings. I think it could be fun. I think she could definitely grow there. But yeah, I don't know what she's going to be willing to do. Who knows if she's going to sign on with one or Bellator or I don't know. I think there's options for her, but yeah, it sucks because she did have some good fights. She did. It wasn't always on, but when she was on, man, it was so fun to watch.
Yeah.
We talk about the Atlanta fight, which was tremendous, but she also fought Lena Landsberg back in the day, and they went to a close fought decision that was fun as hell too. So
yeah, she performed. She didn't pull out.
So much shade. You might as well be an umbrella ring. So much shade being thrown.
It's true. She fought tough opponents. I mean, Liz Carmouche, title contender. So
still don't know what she did against Keish, but I'm never gonna get over that fight. That was just so baffling.
That was her fight, but Keish is just an odd fighter. So
yeah. So we'll leave that there. We're gonna get into the matchups. First up, same two fights that were announced for a card that's happening in Portland, Oregon on April 11th. Carla Esparza is going to fight Michelle Waterson. I expected a fight like this to be like on a pay-per-view because they really give Michelle Waterson a lot of shine. Obviously, you know all too well about that ring, being with WME and all that. And Carla Esparza is coming off a controversial win over Alexa Grasso. This is a really important fight. And it's going to be on a fight night. What do you think about the matchup?
I like this fight, and for once, I'm going to be going for Carla.
You've never gone with Carla once.
Not really, no. Not a fan.
Going against your kind, man. Like always.
I told you.
I know, but still, I'm always going to make you feel guilty about it, even though you're not going to.
She's part Asian, or she is Asian.
She's just like you. She's part Asian and part white.
She's Asian. She got Asian mom.
That is.
She grew up, with certain, expectations.
You're just being a tough Asian peer.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. But this is a good fight, though. I mean, she hasn't fought since she fought Joanna. And then Carla, she's been looking good lately. So yeah, it is an important fight. I want to see what happens. Hopefully, Carla can go on another run.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect here because Esparza obviously won against Grasso, but didn't look that great. And
Mhm.
Michelle Waterson lost to Joanna, but she surpassed my expectations because I did not expect her to go all 5 rounds, at least in the way that it did go, because she showed way more heart than she has as of late. So I think it could be a really fun fight. They've not said that this is the main event, but it looks like in all probability it will. We announced a few weeks ago that Walt Harris was looking to get back in the octagon, and he was not kidding. He got his fight, and it is a doozy. Alistair Overeem. This is also happening on that Portland card, and I've come around on Overeem as of late. I don't despise him as much as I used to when I was younger, and obviously he just got his lip ripped open by Rosenstruck, and I kind of feel for him in that one because that was not his fault. I mean, he let his guard down, but I don't think it was a bad stoppage, but shit, it happened. And in Walt Harris' case, I mean, I don't care how big of an Overeem fan you are. I don't know how you're. He's gonna have the world with him on this one. I don't wish Alistair Overeem much more brain damage because he's taken so much of it. But I really want an emphatic win for Walt Harris, and if that means that he's got to get brained, so be it.
It might happen, man, because that flying knee,
Oh, that's right, Olenek. Jesus Christ.
yeah, it came out of nowhere. First round, what was under 20 seconds?
I think it was
Yeah,
11 seconds.
yeah, it was a quick finish. Came out of nowhere, and like Walt Harris is such a big, broad dude. Like, yeah, Alistair's gonna have a difficult time. And
That was the last fight he had before the tragedy with Anaya, right?
yeah,
The Olenek fight.
yeah, because they were
Uh,
supposed to fight over him. Yeah, they were supposed to.
That's right. Rosenstruck was the last one. You're right. Yes, yes.
Yes, they had to postpone it. So yeah,
Man, what a doozy. And the balls on this guy, man. What heart. Again, all of us, the whole world will be rooting for Walt Harris that night, and we're definitely among them. Speaking of Olenek, this is a little bit later on, but yeah, I figured let's just talk about it now. He's got another fight announced with USADA's favorite homeboy, Fabricio Verdum.
he's back. He's
I
back
really
because he
hope,
snitched, right?
yes, I really hope Michelle Prazeres was not one of the people he gave up because if USADA can't figure that fucking guy's on something, god damn it, Fabricio
Dude,
Verdum doesn't deserve shit.
he gave up one of his homies, his
Yeah,
Brazil homies.
yes, exactly. Yeah, countryman.
Oh
That is
man.
treason on the highest of levels.
Well, Verdum is a LA guy now, right? So.
Don't give me that shit. Oh man, don't even. Oh, Rain, stop. Huntington Beach, not L.A.
Oh,
He's
okay. Sorry.
he's in the OC. We don't. Well, I don't associate with quote unquote those people.
Too funny.
But Cordero's cool, but no,
Shit, you don't
not
want to with him. Well, you don't
not-
want to with him. He gonna snitch on you,
Man, this his snitching, I think, even outdoes him throwing a boomerang at Covington.
right?
I really thought he could do no wrong after that, but even with all his gay slurs and all the shit that he was doing, but in this case, man, regardless, this should be a fun ass fight.
Are they gonna choke each other out?
It could be like a double Ezekiel choke, like one on top of the other.
Jeez, can you imagine?
It's like like a Jason Bourne would, or just both grabbing each other's necks and see who goes out first.
Wow, man, this is gonna be interesting.
And then, of course, with Verdum's layoff, like, how is he going to look? He's not a young man, first of all. He's taken a lot of beatings, got knocked out in his last fight. I think that his last fight was with Volkov. He did not look good in that fight. And yeah, he's kind of a marked man for being a snitch. So, Jesus. I don't even want them to strike. I just want them to go on their knees and start grappling, like, in the center of the octagon as soon as it starts. This should be so crazy.
Yeah, just choke each other out. See what happens.
Because Olenek, I do not see him tapping out to anybody. I don't know if he's ever been submitted, but I just can't see him. He could have his arm fully extended, and I just can see him going, just fuck it, break it.
Yeah, I don't. It's gonna be interesting. The only good thing that Verdum has done during his layoff is like what? He saved a drowning kid.
What the hell?
Yeah, at the beach, Huntington Beach, when they're all hanging out at the beach. His wife recorded it. Like it was like almost a year ago, I think.
Holy
But
shit.
yeah, he was suspended during that time, I believe.
I did
So
not catch that one. Well, props to him on that one, but you're still a snitch. That doesn't change anything.
yeah, you still a snitch.
Yeah. Two big fights were announced for UFC 249. That is the Brooklyn Khabib Ferguson card. As always, knock on wood. Bilal Muhammad is going to fight Lyman Good, and Gregor Gillespie is going to fight Islam Makhachev. Remember Makachev? There was a thing that he may have fought Kevin Lee. Apparently, that's not happening. He's actually fighting Kevin Lee's martyr victim in Gregor Gillespie, which is still a great fight. And Bilal Muhammad versus Lyman Good is, it's going to be one of those prelim fights, but it should be exciting. Bilal's, very exciting dude and Good. I think has fought in every Brooklyn and Madison Square Garden card since they started going to the state. Like he may as well run for mayor in New York City because he just goes there so often. So, what do you think of these two fights, Rain?
Oh man, this is exciting. I'm gonna have to go with Muhammad since he follows me. So,
That's
anyways.
a good enough reason.
Plus, he's entertaining on Twitter, and he's good friends with Paul Felder.
Oh, and you love Paul, so yeah.
Yes,
By
I love
proxy.
Paul. Yes, exactly. So, but I like Lyman Good too. But man, he's been on a losing streak, hasn't he?
Good.
Yeah, I thought he's having
I
like
know
a
he lost to
separate.
Maya. I know he lost to Maya, and
Oh shit!
I think he may have had another fight after that, but I don't remember if he won or lost. I could be wrong. In Gregor Gillespie, I mean, you were mentioning a few weeks ago how you didn't really want to see him back because of how brutal that knockout was.
Yes.
And I mean, he does not have an easy fight with him, and he's Islam Makhachev. Now, I
No.
don't think Islam's gonna knock him out. Anything can happen, but he's not really a striker. But the wrestling in this fight, I mean, it can be one of those fights. It can be like Covington and Usman again. They're such great wrestlers, cancels out, becomes a kickboxing match.
Oh, true.
And in that case, Gillespie might be fucked.
Yeah, this is gonna be ooh. When did he get knocked out? He got knocked out in
November.
November. Yeah, see, isn't that early? Wait, when is this card?
This is in April, so it's gonna be like
April.
5 months.
Oh my god. He's a crazy man. That was so brutal. It was so scary. Fucking like you scared Megan O'Leary. That poor girl with her reaction.
With all the fights she's seen, and she was still mortified about that one.
That one, right?
Hmm
Brutal. So, man.
Speaking of brutality, Muslim Salikov is gonna fight Nico Price at UFC Lincoln on April 25th. Yeah, when that fight was announced, I'm not gonna lie, got a bit of a hard on. Really did.
That shit's funny. Man, Nico Price is a good time, man. And congratulations to him. I guess he had another kid. What is that, number 5?
Oh,
Yep.
man.
He got another hybrid. So congratulations to him. God, that's right. He knocked out Vic. That's right. With that crazy upkick, and then he fought Jeff Neal. That was another crazy fight. He'll take any fight, man. Crazy. And then before that, it was Tim Means. Goodness, this is gonna be a fucking fight of the night.
Vic, and then remember the Jeff Neal fight? I mean, he lost that fight, but
But yeah,
still a war. And Muslim Salikov is the next. He just looks like a murderer
right.
at welterweight right now, and oh my god, this is it's gonna be dope as fuck. One last fight, UFC fight announced. Your girl, Rain, Claudia Gadelia, she's got a fight. She's gonna fight Marina Rodriguez at UFC Oklahoma City, happening on May 2nd. I've been high on Marina Rodriguez. She kind of reminds me of a younger Claudia, and Claudia's obviously coming off of the non-fight against Alexa Grasso. I'll just leave it there. What you got to say?
I'm not sure about this one.
What do you mean?
Just the size difference, and then just the way Claudia's been fighting lately. This will be a tough fight for her, I think. But
I know Rodriguez had a draw in her last fight. I'm trying to remember who it was.
that poor girl, she keeps having draws. Like, isn't this her like second or third draw?
Calvillo. Calvillo is who she fought, and who did not make weight.
Oh.
So that's a little ironic. She's coming off a fight. that she probably should have won. Girl missed weight. Claudia Gadelha didn't fight because the girl drastically couldn't even come close to making weight. So I'm sure they're both pissed off.
Yeah.
Should be great.
Well, that's good that they got her a fight.
Yeah, it's just, bullshit aside, Gadelha did not deserve that with Grasso. That was fucked up on Grasso's part. And she still wanted to fight. They would not let her. I mean, maybe for her own good. Definitely to punish Grasso, but that sucks. I really hope she at least got paid for that. But with UFC paying Cowboy $500,000, and WME not exactly being so liberal with the money, I think that probably didn't happen.
Yeah. But there is a UFC PI in China that people aren't probably using right now. But anyways.
Well, that's for reasons beyond their control, you know. But hopefully things get settled there for all of our well-being because
I hope they do fix it because the Chinese fighters.
No, I mean just China in general.
China in general, but just the Chinese fighters had to get out of there and just. I wonder. We'll talk about it more later, but.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be. We'll see how things develop in the next few weeks, especially in time for the Zhang Weili fight. But another subject. Last fight, Bellator fight, super fight. Gegard Mousasi is gonna fight Douglas Lima for the vacant middleweight strap that Rafael Lovato left because of his brain injury. Is happening at Bellator 243, and that's happening May 9th. Happening at the SAP Center in San Jose. I don't think I can't recall the last time I was so excited for a Bellator fight. This should be nuts.
You're excited about it?
Fuck yeah.
Okay, maybe when I get closer to it, I'll be excited for it. I'm just sad about how Lovato had to give up his belt.
I mean, that's kind of why I'm excited about it too, because there's nothing good that came out of that. I mean, that's a terrible story that we just heard. But at least we're going to get a good fight out of it.
Yeah. Kind of want Lima to win.
I'm not mad at that either. I mean, I like both guys. Mousasi did not look good against Lovato, and obviously Lovato is good, so I'm not taking anything away from him. But Lima has been looking on fire, and I think he's finally coming into his own. Where there's always been so much hype on him, and he kind of would choke in some of the big fights. And now, with the MVP knockout, the Rory McDonald win, I mean, he's on top of the world. I think he can do it too, especially given that he cut so much weight to get down to welterweight. He may even be better at middleweight.
Crazy, so yeah, he'll have the 2 straps, and then Ryan Bader would have the 2 straps if he did capture it.
Shit, he could probably even go up to fight Bader at 205. He's that big. I think he walks around over 200 pounds. So,
that'd be
if
insane.
he's ballsy enough, he can become triple champ. Fuck Henry Cejudo, he can become the first official triple champ.
That'd be interesting.
Dude. Somebody, we can dream.
Yeah, I really want Lima to win. Because they'll do something crazy like that. I'm pretty sure they will.
I mean, why not? If you have talent, if they're available, they're willing, fuck it.
Plus, they'll make money.
Of course. All parties involved. And I usually, this is where I say that's enough for MMA and we go into our news story, but this is MMA related. So let's play the jingle. This is our news story of the week. And as many of you have probably heard, Nate Diaz got into some trouble for absolutely nothing. Story came out that he had been in trouble for some domestic violence, and it was complete horseshit. It was another MMA fighter in Florida. I don't even know why they called Nate Diaz. He doesn't even live in Florida. Whose last name was Nate's. And that's how it happened. And now he's going to sue the Miami Herald, who was the one that published the story. And I do not see how he doesn't win because this is way beyond just some error. I mean, this is slanderous.
Yeah. He's going to go on another 3-year layoff after he gets paid.
I mean, at this point, I really don't think... I know Nate's a fighter, but I don't think he's too fond of fighting as of late. I don't understand why he took this layoff. If he was so fond of fighting, he would have fought already, he likes the money, and I'm not saying he's fighting just for money, but if you give him a large sum, I'm sure he'll take the money and run.
Do you know what this guy looks like? Michael Albert Nates.
I do not.
Yeah, I'm still trying to pull him up on Tapology and everywhere else, but it's not coming up. I mean, it's just crazy. Like Nates, Nates, and you got Nate Diaz out of that. Like how?
Any Nate will do. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, there's not many Nates that are MMA fighters. I guess they just jump to a conclusion, but how? Just okay. This is not me trying to say anything political as far as like I want to bring this around in politics, but I don't think this can be ignored. Trump has made fake news it's like in the lexicon now. It is a word that everyone says whether you agree with him or not. And the thing is, every once in a while he's right about this. People write wrong things, inaccurate things. So I think if you're a journalist, especially somewhere like the Miami Herald, which is a pretty respected newspaper, you want to get the fucking facts right. And to just jump to conclusions or not double check your sources, to just print some shit like this just because it's gonna get you some attention, whatever punishment, whatever amount of money he's gonna have to pay, whatever's coming his way, he fully deserves it because you just need to be aware of this shit right now.
Yeah, true that. Like I don't get it because he's a fighter. You think that he's gonna do these things and have issues with the Miami Police Department? Like I guess there was a incident with the police department too, right? Not just the domestic violence charges, but it's like that doesn't sound like Nate Diaz at all.
Yeah, that sounds like Nick Diaz.
God damn it.
Yeah, everyone forgets about that conveniently. Rumble's a piece of shit for beating his girlfriend, and Cody East, and yeah, but Nick Diaz is out here choking women, and nobody gives a shit about that one. But anyway, yeah, but just throwing that out there.
No fact checking. Just because he smokes weed, he wears all black and wears his hat backwards. Yeah, I hope he takes every penny out of that goddamn newspaper. Like, who fucking reads a newspaper anymore? Is it on newspaper or is it on site? Like, what are they doing?
Well, it might, like every newspaper, yeah, they online, I'm sure they have some print, but yeah, mostly online.
So they deleted that shit offline, but yeah, whatever is print that's still out there. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it.
The one good thing is, I mean, it sucks that it happened in general because it was totally false, but it did seem like it got retracted quick. It happened early in the morning. I didn't even know that it had happened, and then by the time I saw a few hours later, it was a retraction. I was like, wait, what? He didn't do this. And I was like, wait, what did he even do? And then that's when I got wind of the story. It was after the correction. So, yeah, just, that there's very quick to react people who automatically probably already do think that Nate Diaz is an abuser. And especially some of the casuals, especially if you're probably in Miami and you kind of keep up with MMA, this shit may not leave your mind.
Yeah, he's a family man. He's a softie compared to his brother.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah. Get paid, man. You don't gotta fight. Good for you. You got kids already, so.
Yeah, take care of yourself and take care of your fam, obviously, above all. So that's gonna do it for us this week. I want to thank you guys for listening. You can follow me on Twitter at juice_MMA, Instagram as well. Rain?
Fox with you on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can follow the podcast at iFoxWithJuice, or everywhere podcasts are. iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker. You guys know where to find us. Do not go as of yet. I know it's a bit of a long episode, but the clip will be right after this. When I hear the outro right now, we will go straight into the extended clip with KGB and Reen, and that will be the end of the show. So thank y'all for listening, and stick around.
See ya. I always had this in my mind, in my head, because I do train too, and I'm in the gym day in and day out, it seems like. But I'll have these pimples and, I'll have like skin issues. But
Mm-hmm.
when I see you guys, fighters, I'm wondering, like, how do you guys keep your skin regimen? Like, how do you guys keep your skin so flawless? What do you guys use?
Oh, well, it's not flawless, I'll say that. But I religiously use, face wash and face moisturizer. I'm always putting moisturizer on there. I luckily, I'm not like super oily, so I think that helps me out a lot. But I do get little breakouts, here and there. So I mean, it's not like my skin's perfect. But I try not to, pick, of course, at my face. And I try to keep it as clean because, we are always grappling and rubbing up against each other. So our skin and pores are constantly in contact with other people's like body fluids. And, so, I mean, that's gross and nasty. But I mean, I just try to keep good face wash and good moisturizer around with me. But like I said, my skin's not perfect.
Is there a go-to product that you like to use?
Yeah, right now, like I've been using, right now I've got this tea tree oil stuff that I've been using that I like. All right. I also have this collagen face moisturizer that I bought. It seems to be working pretty good for me, but the tea tree one is it's just called tea tree oil by SJ Clinicals. I like that one. And my, the collagen one was pretty expensive. It's called Collagen Hydrator, PCA Skin by PCA Skin. I got that at like a skin doctor. They do all kinds of stuff, lip injection, whatever. But not that I'm getting lip injection. I just they also do like laser hair removal and stuff like that. So I'm big on the laser hair removal. If I can get those kind of treatments, I'll do that.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean, I use a couple of different stuff. Honestly, I'll go to Ross and I will just get whatever looks good at Ross. I read the labels, and make sure that it's all it's good, clean stuff. So I'm not picky, it's not like I try to go out and get the most expensive stuff. I just read it and I make sure that it sounds like it's good for my skin because I'm not very oily, I'm not super dry. I'm like right in between. So I make sure it's like it meshes well with my skin.
Yeah, that combination skin is like really tricky, huh? Especially like the winter times in the summer.
It is. And I do get really dry in the winter time. I mean, my face, my skin, I'm very susceptible to like really dry skin. So I like to keep a lot of moisturizer on me and lotion on me. I'm always applying lotion. Sunscreen too, you need to do that on your face. I don't like to tan my face. So if I'm out, if I even use a tanning bed, I always cover my face.
Nice. Yeah, see, I was always curious. I'm like, how is that possible? If I look at a muffin, I like break out, So I'm like, how is that possible? Like you said, you're always grappling, always like in the gym. Sometimes you don't even have like time to shower. You have to go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do, and that's when you gotta like bring extra change of clothes with you. That way, at least you're being nice to your partners, and you're changing your clothes out. But I think it's just all on your skin tone and all the type of skin, really. Like I said, I'm not like super oily. I'm just like in between.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to make this a thing. Like, ask fighters, like, what do they use? Because we're trying to get more female fans.
Mm-hmm. I like those questions, actually.
Yeah, it's something different.
I'm not used to having those questions. So, it's like I didn't have my product on standby. It's like I can't remember it very well. But I do use Pond's too a lot. I always get that large jar of Pond's. It's
Oh, that's a classic. The Pond's.
I know it is. But it's like, it says dry skin cream. It's just for like dry skin. It's like super hydrated moisturizer. So it stays on. It feels like it stays on long.
Awesome.